Ground ball to center field. Ballard's going to pick it up. Ballard going to throw a long ball home. He caught it. He's out of there. Ballard makes the huge play to get him out at home, and that's going to end the game for whatever team. I don't care. What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, coming at you with some baseball talk today. I want to get into baseball. I love the sport. I played growing up. Let's get into it. Now, here's the thing that I beat myself up with. I don't always do the best job of getting on here and reporting every headline out there. And I know you're going to say, Ballard, you don't have to do that. You just got to cover the big news, do your best, critique your craft, and see how it all works out, right? Okay, I'll take your advice. But there is some news this week in baseball. We won't be live on here too long. But the question of this broadcast, how do we start with baseball in 2024? Where do we begin on Ballard Sports Media? How do we get into it? I don't want to put off anything, man. I said we are going to get back into baseball. We're going to try to cover it as much as we can. We'll go live for some games. I plan on taking another trip to Atlanta for the third year in a row. Later this year, possibly, and nothing's a guarantee. We are looking at going in August again. Myself and my grandmother this year. We talked about possibly the Phillies game. I think they play the Phillies in August or like late July, and that'd be like perfect time to go. We usually, what we've done the past 2 years is we went in August between summer and fall semesters. And that's probably what we want to do. I want to look at the Braves today. Jake Mastriani on Braves Today on Fan Nation put this out. What would have to happen for the Atlanta Braves to miss the postseason? Jake Mastriani does a great job with Locked On Braves. Was listening to him earlier. Really, really good. Also want to look at the rumors for the MLB. Matt Snyder put it out on CBS Sports MLB. Rangers agreed to a deal with Adolis Garcia. The Astros GM talks possible Alex Bregman extension. Don't really want to get into too much of that, but I do think the Adolis Garcia pickup for the Rangers is huge. You're talking about the World Series champ, and they were supposed to have a arbitration hearing with Garcia on Thursday today. Instead, the two sides not only – I read this from the article. Instead, the two sides not only avoided arbitration but agreed to a 2-year contract, reports the Dallas Morning News. The deal is for $14 million with a ton of escalators, per John Heyman of the New York Post. The language can get tricky here, as it is technically a contract extension, but Garcia wasn't set to hit free agency until after the 2026 season. The 2-year deal buys cost certainty for both sides, and they don't have to worry about hitting the arbitration table again next year. So he pretty much is set from what I'm reading. He's 30 years old. He had 29 doubles last year, 39 homers, 107 RBIs, 108 runs, 9 steals. And he started the All-Star game and won the Gold Glove. So that's pretty huge for, Adolis Garcia. I don't know if it's a big surprise that they brought him back. I guess it is, because there were rumors. I remember reading rumors, at least, that he was not going to make it back to Texas. At least for the Rangers, that is. So they pick up a deal for Adolis Garcia. Good for him. Congratulations. Look forward to watching him this year with the Texas Rangers. Also part of this rumor article from Matt Snyder of CBS Sports. Put this out an hour ago, by the way. You can check it out. And let me actually drop this link if you want to go read this on CBS Sports. So let me put that there. I see you in the comments, Cody. Appreciate you showing up. I did hear about Nick Saban joining College Game Day, and I'm happy for him. I think he'll do a really fantastic job. So, getting back on track with the Adolis Garcia news, the Astros general manager talks possible Alex Bregman extension. That's the article I just dropped in the comments for you guys. I cannot wait to get into baseball this year with you guys. And it is so hard. It's a discipline. It's a daily discipline to watch the games, to catch the news, to make note, and everything like that. I'm going to try my best. I can't promise it every single day. I just can't. But I do want to get back into the habit of going live for some games, calling a ball game, and honestly, just talking about baseball. I mean, look, I know this is a college football community that I'm a part of, and I can't wait to meet you guys at the Slob Olympics here in a month, less than that, and talk up some college football with you guys as college football kicks up and we get media days around the corner. Like, we're going to continue that. But there's something about baseball. Like, I just love that sport. I grew up playing it. Not my whole life, but to have played in Little League and to have played some T-ball. I mean, we won a championship as Little League. Now, granted, the last game we won only because the other team didn't have enough players and they forfeited. But that was still special to me. I'll never forget that experience with those coaches and those players back in Florida. I mean, that was actually 10 years ago this year, I think. I think it was 2014. Dang, man, time flies. 10 years. Holy cow. That, wow. Time flies. Whew. Anyway, that being said, I also want to talk about the Braves. Let's just go ahead and cut to the chase with the Braves. I read this from Jake Mastriani of Braves Today on Fan Nation. What would have to happen for the Atlanta Braves to miss the postseason? We know what it takes to get there is win the games. But there's a lot of stuff going around about the Braves and can they miss the playoffs? I think there's a really good chance that they don't miss the playoffs. But I would agree. I mean, they're fixing to open up on the 24th with the Rays. Then they play the Red Sox and so on and so forth with spring training. So the Mets last year did not reach the playoffs. They only won 75 games. They were 29 games back of the Braves in the NL East. They were 9 games back in terms of trying to reach that final wild card spot. I am not a predictions guy. I'm going to be honest. I'm just reading this and talking about it. I mean, I have to memory a little bit about what happened last year, but I remember thinking like the Mets just kind of got snubbed and they really had a good chance to get in there. The Rangers ended up winning the World Series. The Braves fell apart. Now, the thing about the Braves, I think the Braves, honestly, are one of the key organizations in baseball. And I say it like this because they have been able to keep everybody. Now, I know they traded away Freddie Freeman a few years ago, and sad for him. But, they have Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, Ozzie Albies, Michael Harris, Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, Marcelo Ozuna. I could go down the list. They've had these guys for quite a while. They don't have trade drama. They don't have contract drama. They just keep these guys. They're bought into the organization. Right? Now, they are talking about injuries. They are saying there are, how the Braves are built to withstand multiple injuries to key players more than anyone because of depth. They give an example, worst case scenario, the Braves lose Ronald Acuna Jr. and Matt Olson to injury for a significant period. you still have that lineup of guys I just mentioned with Albies, Harris, and Riley, and so on and so forth. So the Braves are in a key position. I hope, man, I'd love to see them win another World Series. I really would. I think they could do it. I really do. I think they could have done it last year. I think being one of the higher seeds, though, I mean, did any of the hype get up in their face? I don't know. But I'll say this, that the Braves are one of the premier teams in baseball right now. I mean, it's good to be a Braves fan. It just is. When you look at the NL East, you have the Braves, you have the Marlins, the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals. Now, the Phillies are your competition. The Nationals, they've fallen off quite a bit since that World Series pre-COVID. The Marlins, decent. The Mets, pretty good. But the Braves, they're at the top, right? Their next game, they open up spring training with the Tampa Bay Rays in Florida, 105 first pitch time, Eastern time. That's two of my teams. I still pull for the Rays too. I'd love to see that happen. You could get those teams for the World Series. You could get the Braves and the Rays. Please make this happen. Florida versus the Braves. Like, come on. Let's go. Now, the Braves do have some key injuries and everything. And, they finished first in quite a few categories last year, too. There's so many different directions to go with this, honestly. And I really like the bullpen. I like the lineup for the Braves. I think they got what it takes. They bring so much back, and they're going to continue to bring guys back. They're going to continue, the Braves are, to keep guys like Sean Murphy, Austin Riley, Orlando Garcia, Ozzy Albies, Michael Harris. I mean, you can keep those guys and keep them going on, like, straight up. Now, Spencer Strider, Max Fried. So, I mean, you have guys like that at pitcher to where you're going to mix it up a bit this year. You really are. I think Spencer Strider will start out, but Max Fried, who, to my understanding, I believe he's dealing with a little bit of injury, but let me double check. He's still good. All right, he's not bad, honestly. He was originally drafted by the Padres like over a decade ago, and eventually he found his way with the trade and got into the Braves. So now here's the thing. They're trying to get Max Fried a contract extension. I don't want to see him go. Braves fans probably don't want to see him go. There's a rumor that Clutch Points put out yesterday or 2 days ago that there was a Braves player that gave a little hint that Max Fried could join the Dodgers. That would be something huge for the Dodgers, obviously. And as much depth as you have, I still think it's a big loss on Atlanta, right? Like, it's still a loss on the Braves, isn't it? Because think about it. I mean, he's come in big moments, and when you look back at his career so far with Atlanta, I mean, he has he started 122 games. He's played in 139. He's 62 and 26 as a starter. He's got, as a batter, he's pretty good too. But honestly, we want to look at him as a pitcher. I mean, you could talk about his 637 hits, 261 runs, earned runs. He's earned 239 of those. So Complete games, he's played in 4. He's pitched 3 shutouts in his career, which is still pretty good. I mean, not a lot of guys can say that. So, honestly, the Braves are set up in a good position. So I'm excited for this season, and I hope that they don't like. I want to see them win every game. You want to win every single game, but like you got to lose a little bit in baseball too. You got to mix it up. What if the Braves struggle a little bit early on? They possibly could. Then it just doesn't seem right. Something's wrong with Atlanta. Something's wrong with the Braves. They get this underdog mentality, and they start creeping up a little bit. Then they just take off, right? And then they just take it by storm this year. I really think this could be a good year. Steve Pearson says we'll have to see what happens in the postseason. I agree. Good to see you in here too. By the way, I agree that you have to wait for the postseason. I think it's a give. It's not a given, but I think the NL East is the Braves to lose. And I mean, is there really any much of a challenge in that division this year? Because I have heard a lot about how the Phillies drop off, the Nationals, the Mets. Because I really only think the Mets maybe could be your only challenge. I think the Marlins early on could be, but I mean, it's the Braves to lose. And they'll at least win enough games to where they punch a wild card ticket, and then we run with it. But I just it's hard to figure out the divisions right now completely. Like I mean, it's not early, but it's still you you haven't seen anything from it. The thing about baseball is this, right? What's that movie? Was it Major League? You throw the ball, you catch the ball, you hit the ball, right? That's baseball. This isn't football with trick plays or anything. I mean, maybe once in a blue moon, someone might like steal a base. I don't know. But the Braves have some of the best rotation to hit homers out of the park. They're fast off their feet so they can haul tail to the base. Like, the Braves are good. I look at other teams out there that I'm curious about. I look at the Twins. I look at the Astros. Uh, shoot, I maybe the Diamondbacks. I really don't know about the National League West. The American League East. I want to give it to. I want to see the Rays, but Baltimore, man, Baltimore last year, they were fantastic. They were 101 and 61. And they got to play the Braves to open their spring training on the 26th. They got, they just got a utility man, as they call him, which I don't really understand that term. Nick Malton, Maton, got him from the Detroit Tigers for cash last night. He hit 8 home runs last year, 32 RBIs in 93 games for the Tigers. 173 was his batting average. Ugh. In 3 seasons, he's played in 180 major league games. I almost said minor league. My apologies there. So, I just like there's going to be some teams out there that we could look at, and we'll continue talk with baseball this season. Definitely want to get into it. It won't be an everyday thing, but at least once or twice a week, let's get on here live and just talk it up. If you guys have baseball knowledge, like help me out a little bit. Like I'm not the biggest baseball fan in the world. I will admit that. I'm not solely from Locked On MLB or Jake Mastriani from Locked On Braves or anything like that. But I do love the sport. Just the feeling of hear like the sound of the snap of the glove when you catch the ball, the crack of a bat. It's beauty to my ears, honestly, and I love it. I mean, I do. Steve Pearson makes a good point, by the way, in the comments. A Braves fan, Georgia fan too. I'd rather struggle early and get hot late, like 2021. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: if you get, let me put this here. If you get off to a sluggish start, I mean, there's like over 100 games you're going to play, right? So, like, what do they play? 160, 162 total. Point is, if you get off to the best start, that's not going to mean jack squat when it comes time for October. Oh, well, we won 5 games in a row. We were 5-0. Blah blah blah. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You got to win down the stretch halfway through the season. You got to. You're talking from June to September. I would say those 4 months matter the most. Maybe throw in May. Maybe you say 5 months. The first 2 months of the regular season with late March, early April. I mean, that first month is kind of a sluggish start, right? I mean, it is. Just call it what it is. But then you keep playing, you might have some injuries and some setbacks. You're going to have those turn back moments. You know, you could give up and go home, or you could keep going and push, right? And keep fighting. But at the same time, in baseball, I would say, well, nobody wants a bad start, but it's not how you start, it's how you finish. That's how it is in baseball. That's how it's going to be for the Braves, for the Padres, for the Giants, for the Astros, whoever. It's going to be how you finish. It's going to be based on performance. It's going to be based on, the July, August, and September. Not so much, not that it's not important before then, in June, April, May, whatever. It's not that it's not important. It is. Every game matters, right? There's so many players out there that go to the MLB that say, I want to win a World Series, but only 2 teams can make it there. Well, there's only a handful of players that can say, I want a World Series. You know, and you're going to see that it's based on performance in baseball this year. How guys perform and go out there and give it everything they got to win a big time game, to win big time games, period. To pitch, to hit, to strike them out. You got to do what it takes. So, anyway, I've gone on that long enough. Baseball's back. Back again. Almost. It's almost back. We still got 2 weeks, but I'm excited for it. We'd like to cover it. We'd love to talk about it. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in today. We're going to get out of here. I love you guys. Don't forget about the Slob Olympics, too. Coming at you March 1st through the 3rd, 2024, Panama City Beach. I will be there. Pigskin Pete, BVD, Uncle Lou will be there, and a handful of others. Can't wait to meet all of you. Appreciate everyone. Come hang out with us. It'll be the Days in Panama City Beach, Florida. The events will take place March 2nd, that Saturday. So, can't wait. Less than a month out. Looking forward to it. Love you guys. Jesus loves you. God bless. Chop on. And from a Bama fan, I always got to say this. Roll Tide. Ballard Sports Media. Check it out. I love y'all. Peace.